Welcome to Screen Hollywood, the home of movie news and entertainment. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Welcome back to Screen Hollywood. I'm Adam. If you're new here, join the Hollywood family and hit the like, subscribe, notification bell, and hype button. And bookmark our news site at screenhollywood.com. Today, we need to talk about the sheer, unadulterated scent of panic wafting out of Burbank, California. Disney and Marvel Studios are currently in a tailspin, and the harder they try to pull up, the faster they seem to be heading toward the ground. We are currently seeing a marketing strategy for Avengers Doomsday that can only be described as throw everything at the wall and pray something sticks. In a move that reeks of desperation, Disney decided to attach not one, not two, but 4 different sneak trailers for Avengers Doomsday to the theatrical release of Avatar, Fire, and Ash. The plan was simple. Use James Cameron's Behemoth to drum up hype for a movie that isn't coming out until December 2026. But as the old saying goes, man plans and the audience laughs. The strategy hasn't just failed, it has spectacularly backfired. From infuriating leaks that have Disney executives seeing red, to a lukewarm public reception that has left the Big Three return feeling more like a big thud, the house that Iron Man built is officially on fire. And today, we're going to look at why the return of Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. might actually be the final nail in the coffin for the MCU's credibility. Let's start with the immediate fallout. Disney's bright idea was to turn Avatar, Fire, and Ash into a Trojan horse for Avengers Doomsday. They wanted to create event screenings where fans would flock to see James Cameron's latest just to get a glimpse of the new Avengers lineup. Instead, the plan leaked. Then, the trailers leaked. Low-quality, shaky cam footage of the Doomsday teasers hit X and Reddit days before the Avatar premiere, completely stripping away the must-see exclusivity. According to inside sources, Disney and Marvel are absolutely livid. They've been playing whack-a-mole with copyright strikes, but the damage is done. But here's the kicker. This strategy is actually hurting Avatar, Fire, and Ash. By shifting the conversation so heavily toward Doomsday, Disney has effectively told the audience that the movie they actually paid to see is just a secondary concern. It's a distraction. And the box office numbers for Fire and Ash are reflecting that lack of focused hype. People are tired of being sold a commercial for the next movie while they're trying to watch the current one. And what was actually in these top secret trailers? Nothing. Absolutely nothing we didn't already know. The big reveal was Steve Rogers' return. But let's be real. The internet knew Steve Rogers was coming back weeks, if not months, before this trailer dropped. There was no way home level of shock here. It was a predictable, safe, and ultimately boring reveal that left audiences saying, "Is that it?" Now, let's get into the meat of why this is failing on a cultural level. The desperation to rejuvenate the brand is evident. They are bringing back the Golden Boys, Chris Hemsworth, RDJ, and Chris Evans. But as I said in our previous Doomsday video, nostalgia is a finite resource. You can only go back to the well so many times before it runs dry. And ironically, in trying to fix their woke problem, they've managed to annoy the very woke audience they spent 6 years trying to court. If you look at Reddit groups and X, there is a massive wave of frustration from the progressive side of the fan base. They're claiming Disney has gone back on its promise to diversify the franchise. For years, we were told that Anthony Mackie was the new Captain America. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier was an entire series dedicated to him earning the shield. Brave New World was supposed to be his big moment. But now? With Steve Rogers back in the frame for Doomsday, Sam Wilson has been effectively sidelined in his own franchise. The woke crowd is calling it a regression, claiming Marvel is cutting back on female heroes and non-white characters because they're scared. And honestly, they're right to be scared, but for the wrong reasons. The truth of the matter is that Marvel has spent the last 6 years trying to reboot the MCU with a heavy emphasis on identity politics and the message, and it has failed miserably. They haven't just lost fans, they've lost billions in revenue. We've seen it with the Marvels, we saw it with She-Hulk, And we're seeing it with the general apathy toward the new Avengers. The phrase, go woke, go broke, isn't just a meme anymore. It's a documented financial reality for Disney. They alienated their core demographic, the people who just wanted good stories and heroic escapism. And now that they're trying to pivot back to the original characters, they've lost the trust of everyone. The new fans feel betrayed, and the old fans see right through the bait. If you look at mainstream media outlets right now, the usual suspects like Variety or THR, they are desperately trying to manufacture excitement. They're pushing headlines claiming the Steve Rogers sneak trailer has gone viral with over 5 million views in less than 48 hours. But as always, the devil is in the details. What they are failing to mention, whether intentionally or because they're just carrying water for Disney, is the nature of those views. A view is not an endorsement. If you see a car crash on the side of the road and you slow down to look, that doesn't mean you want to buy the car. The comment sections and social media discourse surrounding these 5 million views are overwhelmingly negative. The consensus? This is cheap, desperate nostalgia bait. When I saw the trailer myself, I didn't feel that old Marvel spark. I rolled my eyes. It felt like a corporate mandate. Quick, put Chris Evans in the suit so people stop looking at our quarterly earnings reports. Marvel's biggest mistake here is believing that high view counts on a YouTube teaser will translate into the massive box office numbers they need next year. People are nosy. They want to see how bad it looks. They want to see if RDJ looks out of place as Doom. But dragging those same people into a theater, making them buy a $20 ticket and $15 popcorn, that is a completely different animal. To get the masses back, you need substance. You need depth. You need a reason for these characters to exist beyond, remember how much you liked us in 2019? Bringing back legacy characters is a short-term band-aid on a sucking chest wound. If the writing isn't there, and let's be honest, Marvel's writing has been subpar for years, then all the Chris Evans cameos in the world won't save you. The pressure on Avengers Doomsday is unlike anything we've ever seen in cinema history. This isn't just about making a profit. It's about justifying the existence of the Disney-era MCU moving forward. Internal reports suggest that Disney is expecting, wait for it, an excess of $2.5 billion in global ticket sales for Doomsday to consider it a true success. To put that in perspective, only 2 movies in history have ever comfortably cleared that bar: Avatar and Avengers Endgame. Disney has spent so much money on these course corrections, reshooting Brave New World, paying RDJ a reported $80 million plus perks, bringing back the Russo brothers for a king's ransom, that the break-even point for this movie is astronomical. And here's the problem. Endgame was the culmination of a decade of perfect storytelling. Doomsday is the culmination of 5 years of content that most people didn't watch or didn't like. You can't build a $2.5 billion skyscraper on a foundation of sand. The global audience has changed. The Chinese market, which used to be a guaranteed gold mine for Marvel, has cooled significantly on Western superhero tropes. Domestic audiences are feeling superhero fatigue, which is really just bad movie fatigue. When you look at the trailers they just released, do you see a $2.5 billion movie? Or do you see a studio that is terrified of its own shadow, clinging to the past because they have no idea how to build a future? Let's talk about Anthony Mackie for a second. I actually feel for the guy. He was handed the mantle of Captain America at the worst possible time in the studio's history. He was the face of the new MCU, the diverse Disney Plus-centric era. But by bringing Steve Rogers back now, Marvel has essentially admitted that Sam Wilson wasn't enough. They've admitted that their attempt to reboot the franchise over the last 6 years has been a failure. They spent millions of dollars on marketing the passing of the torch, only to realize the audience wasn't following the light. So now they're in this weird limbo. They have 2 Captain Americas, a Dr. Doom who looks exactly like Iron Man, and a fan base that is split down the middle. One side is mad that the woke promises weren't kept, and the other side is mad that the franchise became woke in the first place. By trying to please everyone, Disney is pleasing no one. This is what happens when you prioritize identity politics over narrative integrity. You end up with a mess that requires $80 million actors to fix. But actors can't fix a broken culture within a studio. The go woke, go broke trajectory is hard to reverse because it destroys the brand's prestige. Marvel used to be the gold standard. Now it's just another struggling franchise trying to survive on nostalgia. At the end of the day, Avengers Doomsday needs to be more than just a reunion tour. It needs to be a masterpiece. But based on these 4 sneak trailers and the panicked marketing surrounding Avatar, Fire, and Ash, I'm not seeing a masterpiece. I'm seeing a fire drill. The mistake Marvel is making is thinking that the fans are the problem. They think we just need to see Steve Rogers' face again to forget the last 6 years of mediocrity. But we haven't forgotten. We've seen the decline in quality, the rise of preachy narratives, and the dilution of what made these characters special. If Disney wants that $2.5 billion, they're going to have to bring real substance to the table. They're going to have to prove that they care about the story more than the demographics. They're going to have to move past the bait and give us something real. But what do you think? Did the Doomsday sneak peeks get you excited, or did you roll your eyes like I did? Do you think the return of the original Avengers is enough to save the MCU, or is it too little, too late? And what do you make of the woke backlash regarding Anthony Mackie being sidelined? Drop a comment down below and let's get the conversation started. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Screen Hollywood for more deep dives into the industry. I'm Adam, and I'll see you in the next one.